I guess it's my turn then. I want to tell everybody thank you so much. You know, it's been a year, and it's I got to say it's been the most humbling year that I've ever been a part of. It's been a year that has had many learning experiences. At the same time, it's been a year that has brought me even closer in some ways to my wife and to my kids, because when you're away from them as much as I've been lately, it really makes you appreciate what you have at home. And you know, so often we get focused on ourselves, we get focused on running our business, that you start looking around, you start realizing how much you've allowed someone to intrude into your life, and that someone has been our federal government. You know, I got in this race simply because I got fed up. No question about it. But as I've traveled across the district, there's been so many people that have said the same thing. That, you know, you're right, Markwayne, the federal government has came in too far. You're right, the EPA has overstepped the boundaries. You're right, Markwayne, we don't have a clue what Obamacare is going to actually do to us yet, but we know it's just more intrusion from the federal government that constantly puts themselves on us. And you know what? Some of the worst days I have always someone sitting there to pick me up. I had someone write me a 3-page prayer that came in the mail yesterday. I honestly, I don't think I'm an emotional guy, but I almost cried because I don't know this person, and she only put her first name, Vanessa. That was it. And it was so encouraging as she wrote it that it makes you think there's so many people out there that are looking for something different. You know, it's our fault. You guys have heard me say it. It's our fault. We're the ones that have picked these representatives and these elected officials to go up there. And those of us that should have served, we've been busy. We've been busy focusing on ourselves, and we haven't looked around and saw how much intrusion the federal government has been taking one piece at a time, and we've been saying, well, politics is too dirty. I don't want to get involved in it. Well, I don't have time to take away from my business. I don't want to get involved in it. Well, I'm busy raising my kids. I don't want to get involved in it. But what we do when we say that is that we're saying that we're going to put someone else back here. We're going to let our kids step up and take this hard fight. And I'm just not willing to do that. You know, I can honestly sit here and tell you, there was not a day in my life I ever woke up thinking, I want to be a congressman. I didn't. I know I look the part, but I know I dress so nice. It's the starched jeans. But there wasn't a day that I really thought that I want to go up there and be a politician. But what I do want to do is I want to serve now so my kids won't have to pay later. You know, it's literally on a daily basis that I have the EPA, or I have the Department of Labor, or unemployment officer, or someone coming into my office about a workers' comp claim. Some type of regulatory agency coming in our office every single day trying to tell us how to run our business. And what it's cost me is over 40 cents on every single dollar that comes into Mullin Plumbing and the other companies we have. It cost me over 40 cents on the dollar to comply with regulations out there. Over 40 cents. And I'm not even that heavy of a regulated industry. And yet we got the Republican Party and the Democrat Party both that are trying to sit there and tell us that they're trying to get this economy back on track. But the truth is, underneath the Bush administration, there was 10,600 new regs passed. Underneath this current administration, half the time there's been 10,200 plus regs passed. And they're saying they're only implementing roughly 35% of those regulations at this time. My goodness, that's nearly 21,000 new regs, and they're trying to tell us they're getting this economy back on track. You know, we have sent people up there so often because they know the system. But what about knowing our issues? What about truly understanding what our issues are about? What about willing to take a stand and say, you know, I'm not going to sit there and have to be educated on the issues. I know them firsthand, and I ask you a question. Who's going to fight harder for you? Someone that has firsthand experience dealing with the EPA? Someone that has firsthand experience dealing with someone in these regulatory agencies? Or someone's just heard about it? Because truthfully, if you just heard about it, you might think it's just a story or it's just a once-in-a-lifetime thing that happened. But it's every single day. The day that our Supreme Court sat back and said that Obamacare was a tax, our company just received a $250,000 new tax because we have over 120 employees. Over $250,000. Well, they're trying to get this economy back on track, aren't they?
Yeah.
Something's wrong with that. Why is it that businesses that employ over 50 people all of a sudden are getting punished? And just recently, our president stands up and says a business owner, he didn't do it. The business owner didn't do it. It wasn't him. It was the federal government that helped him. We're the ones that passed these stimulus. We're the ones that did this and did that. Really? He's the guy that hasn't took a shower for the last 15 years without his phone nearby where you can hear it ring? He's the guy that has never really took a vacation, but he goes on a trip with his family, knowing good and well that my work is still there when I get there. Nobody else does my work. It's still there. He must really understand what it's like to be available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and the federal government or elected politicians are the ones that created that opportunity for me. That just shows you how disconnected our elected officials have become. They think it's them. They're the ones that's done this. They're the ones that have stood up there, and they're the ones that know better. They're the ones that's going to tell us how to take care of our farm. I mean, I live in Westville. That's Adair County. It's a small town of 1,200 people. The land I live on is the exact same land that has been in the family for 4 generations. And the EPA come on 3 years ago and started telling us the best way to take care of our land underneath the Clean Water Act. I love that land. And they're going to tell me how they're going to take care of it, and I guarantee you their boots have never been dirty before. At some point, we've got to be willing to stand up and fight back. At some point, we've got to say, we're going to take time out of our lives. We're going to sacrifice our time and we're going to go serve. And we're going to give you everything we got. I can guarantee you, for the 6 years that I have dedicated to serve, there won't be one single person that I'll allow without working. It's not about working with the Republican Party. It's working with the person. I've never hired a person one time and asked him how he voted. I hired the best person. Republican or Democrat, I hire the best person. But what we have is we got politicians that go up there and they're in this big room, and you got part of them standing over here because they got a certain letter in front of their name, and you got part of them that's standing over here because they got a certain letter in front of their name, and no one's willing to walk through the middle of it and get their shoes dirty because they're trying to play party politics, because how you get things done is through seniority. That's not true. The only reason why we're successful to the moderate success that we are in our companies is because we surrounded ourselves with the best people. And you can't convince me there's all bad Democrats and all good Republicans. Because we have some bad Republicans. And there's got to be some good Democrats. But maybe they can't get the issues taken care of. Maybe they can't come up against that regulation because they voted for it and they'd be deemed a hypocrite. And they've got these tentacles that have stretched too far in every one of these government regulations, these government agencies, and the only thing we got to do is reach out to them and start chopping one off at a time. Rein them in and use people that already know the system. I know the issues. Let's get to work and let's work together. I'll give you all the credit. It's not about me. I don't have any political ambitions outside of 6 years. My ambition is to come home and teach my kids how to work. And you don't do that besides sending them to a job. You do that because you're going to work beside them. You know, they can get a good education. I understand that. But an education without a work ethic is what? Nothing. But why I'm there to serve you. A representative goes up there and he swears to uphold the Constitution. And so often, after they take that oath, they come back and they forget. Because the votes we get over and over and over and over again completely ignore our Constitution. And when they have an opportunity to hold someone to it, it's too dangerous. They're not willing to take that fight. It's political suicide. That's not what we need at this time. We need people that are willing to go up there and have a vision 5 years down the road and be willing to make that decision today, not just as far as their next election is. I will give you 100%. I will stand up and I will fight. I won't allow anybody to outwork me, but I can't do it alone. Just like there was no way that we could build a business the way that we have if we didn't surround ourselves with great people. I can't make it unless I surround myself with great people. I need your help August 28th, and then I need your help again November 6th. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for listening to so many great politicians talk good about ourselves, right? And I look forward to answering any questions you have after this. Thank you.